listening to Fresh Heat Radio.
Alright, we back. It's Fresh Heat Radio. Your boy FreshhMann.
And your boy Z Heat, you already know what it is. Me here coming back with y'all again for another one out here. What we talking about today, sir?
Yo, we can't even get into all that, Z, because you gotta put them on game. Because
the
first time to the radio show.
I ain't been here. I ain't talked to y'all in a couple weeks. But you already know before we get started, go and hit that like and subscribe. Make sure y'all tune in and make sure you leave something in the comments, letting us know what y'all like, what y'all don't like. If there's any topics that y'all want to hear from us, go ahead and put those in there too. We reading all of that. But we do got something for y'all for today. And what is that, though?
So first and foremost, I just got a situation. So I'm feeling almost like the Joker in a sense off The Dark Knight. My man said, why so serious? I'm feeling the vibe of why so sensitive. Like, everybody, the world, is legit so sensitive about everything. Now, perfect example. I'm in a situation, I'm watching youth sports. A parent comments and says, hey, I need to speak with you. I said, okay, no problem. He comes over and says, hey, I really have a problem with how one of the coaches was talking to my kid. Hey, what's going on? Sir, let's talk about this. Yeah, I think we need to. I said, well, what did he say? He said, if you are the last one back after this running drill, you have to run extra laps. I stood there and I was kind of waiting for the punchline, like, okay, did he insult your son? Did he call him a name? Then he says, I just don't think that's good positive guidance techniques. I feel like he should have used better techniques to motivate my son to run faster. Now, Z, I don't know if we've ever talked about sports history. So, in high school, I was a football player. That's what I did.
Right.
Football player. I literally can count on one hand the times that my football coach did not use foul language. Like, on one hand, I can count how many times he did not use foul language. I don't feel like I would never speak to him, or that my emotions or self-esteem was torn down. I always felt like it was motivation. I did not feel bullied. I did not feel singled out. I did feel responsibility because 9 times out of 10, and I'm gonna go as far as, I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, there can be room for error. 9 times out of 10, it was my mistake. I had to own that. If I was running a route, I played wide receiver and strong safety. If I was running a route and I dropped the ball, I don't know what was wrong with my hands back in high school. I really couldn't catch. That's just funny to me now because I can catch. But in high school, it was not happening. If I'm running a route and I'm mad quick, put the move on them, and I catch the ball or I miss the ball, I'm to blame. It wasn't the quarterback's fault. If it hit any part of your hands, you're supposed to catch that. If I drop the ball, I already knew, number one, that's my fault. Number two, I'm probably going to get cussed out. Number three, I'm probably going to do some kind of calisthenic or conditioning exercise that will remind me of the consequence of how serious me dropping a ball means to the team. It's emphasized on my responsibility. Z, do you feel like the world is so sensitive because of a lack of responsibility, or why do you think the world has become, in the words of the Joker, the late great Heath Ledger, why so sensitive? Why?
Well, I feel like a lot of it has to do with, so the generation that's ultra sensitive now is the generation that, I can't say we raised, but it's a mixed when we came up, it was one of those things that we took what was given to us because that's what our parents allowed, right? You know what I mean? But then now, and you worked in education as well, so you've seen firsthand. And it ain't never the kid's fault, right? You know what I mean? Like it ain't
Surprise,
surprise. And the issue is with the whoever the disciplinary is or whoever that authority figure is, but it ain't never the kid's fault. When you shift all the blame and responsibility off the kid like that all the time, I mean, eventually, yeah, it's gonna make a difference. They're gonna be soft. They're gonna be soft. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening right now. So in the instance of the sports, primary example, that boy is out there chilling, right? Yeah, I mean, your boy is trash. You know your boy is trash. We know your boy is trash. Everybody know your boy is trash. He don't want to be out here. He only out here because you making him be out here. You know what I mean? But then at that same time, you mad because you want people to do it the way you want to do it. Nah, take it soft ass back home. If that's how you want to do it. Because
that's fact.
In the real world, this ain't how it works. You know what I mean?
Go there, Z. Go there, please. I was just about to say that.
It's a two-sided coin in the real world. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be in whatever environment that that you're in. So if you can't handle that environment, then don't put yourself in that environment, right? You know what I mean? Like, but what you can't do is waltz into any environment and demand for the environment to conform to you, right? You know what I mean? This is what's been really, really bad here lately. Is a lot of people feel entitled to have the entire environment around them conform to them.
Entitlement.
Yeah. Nah, it's an entitlement that's crazy to me because I've never been that way, and it can't even really say it's a generational thing. Because I know niggas my age that's soft as motherfucker. I know kids that are ultra soft as well. You know what I mean? And it's just like I know kids whose parents are like me, but they kids is mad soft. You know what I mean? So it's you can't. It's the environment. It's I guess it's just what you teach your kids, that sense of entitlement, and it really falls down on the parents, man. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
I was gonna say, so do you think this culture cultivates more of a sensitive nature? I'm sorry, Z. I feel like, I mean, now granted, I'm gonna use something that I'm sure you're quite familiar with: basic training.
Yep.
Z, when you went through basic training, I guarantee it's totally different than the basic training people go through now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like it's any better training-wise with the lack of the aggression versus the lack of this, or the plus of this sensitivity? Which one? I mean, do you really think it's better? And I'm thinking, as a civilian, right? It's this combat scenario that most of y'all are in. Do you feel like there needs to be a sense of urgency? Or again, I'm stressing responsibility, because entitlement, you don't really have a responsibility. You just feel like you're entitled. I get that, no matter what I do. Responsibility, I gotta own that. Like, I messed up, so something has happened. Do you feel like that is a plus or minus in training our line of defense for the United States of America? Do you feel like that's a disadvantage or advantage?
I mean, I feel like it's a disadvantage, but not just for the military as a whole. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what I'm saying. When you try to instill that entitlement to that level. So this, like I said, once again, my whole thing is that what it is people are failing to accept. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's the instillment of you're allowed to be however you are, but with that comes consequence. And when you don't have a perception of that consequence, you feel like everything, you know what I mean, should be the way you want it. And if it's not, you feel offended, right? You know what I mean? Like, and you'll see multiple, that's all it is. It's just people sitting here, it's just like, yo, I know people that if you don't agree with them, you know what I mean, or if you don't like what they like, or if you're not 100% what they're on, if you, any type of difference in opinion, you know what I mean, then you're against them, you're attacking them. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a personal insecurity because you don't know what it's like to have confidence. Meaning that I can be who I am unadulterated with confidence. I mean, with consequence. I know how I am all day. I know how aggressive I am. I know how You know what I mean? Like how laid back I am. I know when I get out here and I'm talking to people on a day-to-day basis, I know what my personality is. I know with that, the consequence of me and my personality is there's gonna be some people that like it, and there's gonna be some people that don't, right? You know what I mean? And I fully accept the consequences of my personality when I'm out here dealing with people. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't accept the fact that some people are gonna like them and some people aren't. Right? You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't gonna and there's a line because as just a human species, you know what I mean, as we evolve more intellectually, there's less need to be so physically abrupt with each other, right? You know what I mean? So a lot of that softness that you talk about comes from the lack of physical. People ain't beating their kids no. People ain't spanking their kids like this.
But like Z, like I don't really feel okay, so I hear what you're saying with the physical part, right? I'm really talking psychological part.
Right, but that comes with it. This is what I'm talking about.
But I mean, because to me, I'm thinking psychological is this. You're in a class, somebody calls you a name. Like Z, I literally remember walking into an 8th grade classroom and somebody joking blood from me, like about ears. Yo, that nigga ears is huge. Look at that nigga. Like I remember joking blood from me. But it wasn't one of those things that I cultivated that I was like, oh my gosh, they're making fun of me. Everybody hates me, because I had a sense of pride, as you stated, clear and concisely, my good man, from home. Like, you're him. You are built this way. Like, girls are gonna love this. Like, my parents literally picked it out and was like, yo, they can't make fun of that because that's gonna be a plus in your future. So that's just what that means. So it's not built that way. Kids now, oh my gosh, and granted, I didn't grow up in a high school or middle school or elementary school at this point with social media. Does that play a key part? Probably so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I can discount that, and I don't want to discredit that. I think that is something that I will never be able to relate to in that age, because that wasn't there with me in that age, and not with you either. Like we talked about before in another episode, like that probably didn't hit till senior year, junior year in college for me. And at that point, it was so fresh, people really didn't even know what they had. So like
it was nowhere like it is today. Nowhere.
Yeah, so and it wasn't as prevalent. People weren't really tracking. That was just something that you just meet college girls on, and that was the end of that. Nobody's doing any cyberbullying. But again, back to the topic at hand, why so sensitive? At the end of the day, like, I totally get the spanking thing. I feel like psychological punishment is a little more different once you get to a certain age. But again, like, it's the fact of responsibility. When you don't take responsibility, a spanking, you're wrong. If I can't spank your kid, if I can't give your kid an F, if I can't say your kid needs some help, if I can't say your kid is not talented in sports without somebody getting all offended and ruffled up, that's an issue. That's an issue.
No, it's crippling. No, it very much is crippling. But that's what it is. It's the fact that people they're so worried about the psychological, aspect of when you speak negative things. Instead of taking a criticism, instead of focusing on what's being said, people focus too much on how it's being said. And I'm just like, that's not doing any benefit. Now, with that being, I can't sit here and say that sometimes I don't like the way people talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even ready to sit here and pretend like you can just say anything to me any kind of way, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, because I don't get offended easily. Yeah, I don't get offended easily. You still gonna watch your mouth when you're speaking to me. You know what I mean? And that's just that. You know what I mean? Because that's just that is, everybody has their own lines, you know what I mean? So there's a difference between you saying something to me and me getting down on myself about it, you know what I mean, and feeling bad about myself and playing the victim on myself, or you saying something to me and I turn right back around and jump right back on your ass. That's just personality. Like you said, you learned that from home. I learned that from home. You know what I mean? Jay learned that from home. Yeah, like even the boy, he can go out and I know there's still things that hurt. You know what I mean? I know there's still things that he don't like. Right. You know what I mean? But I know in different environments, by and far, the boy is very much confident in himself, but he understands. It's just lines. It's just everybody is different. Some people are softer than others. Why is it that way? I still blame the parents. because
I think that's the only one to blame. I think that's the only one to blame.
But it comes once again when I'm saying it was the physical, you know what I mean, it's because I feel like I said, as each generation goes by, physical punishment. Like when you get to psychological and verbal, you know what I mean, abuse, that's a whole nother game.
That is though.
Right? You know what I mean? Like it does something that you can't really account for at the time. You can make a kid run until they throw up, and that's really about the end of that, right?
That is quite the end of that.
The full effects of it. You know what I mean? But you don't. Every kid don't respond the same way. You know what I mean? Like every kid is like every kid don't. Every kid don't respond the same way. But once again, if you can't handle this environment, to get out of it, right? You know what I mean? Because certain environments, this is how it has to be done. And I guess that's the point that I want to make, because I'm not going to sit here and vouch and say that, yeah, this is how you should conduct yourself in all environments. That isn't. Some environments require a lot more abrasiveness than others. And if you can't, you know what I mean, handle that abrasiveness, then this ain't the environment that you need to be in. You need to be in an environment where everybody can talk sweet and nice to each other, you know what I mean, in a very politically correct environment. And I mean, it doesn't do you any good, because in those environments, they're just bubbles. Those bubbles pop, and you're out here exposed to the raw fucking world. And you've never been around anybody that doesn't think like you, or you haven't been exposed to anything that's not immediately aligned to your specific needs and your specific wants. And like I said, you feel attacked. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense to me, because this is how it happens. It's not a matter of me being soft, me being hostile. I really feel like, in the United States at least, a lot of that shit just comes from fear.
You said fear?
Yeah. Just the fear of being different. You know what I mean? Everybody's so afraid of being different that this is what I'm saying. When there's other different shit going on around them, that's the problem, not me.
See, now I would disagree with you on that. I feel like America embraces this different stuff. Matter of fact, if you speak against, and this is why I say this. This is why I say this, right? Perfect example. We've had a conversation about this. If a person likes trees, right, and they love trees, that's weird. Like, I want to marry a tree. You cannot tell me in the United States of America somebody is going to stand against you and say you cannot like a tree. No, nigga. You're going to be able to like that tree. You're going to be able to marry that tree. And they might pass a law so you can marry a tree in the United States of America. If you can say, I'm really not a boy, I'm really not a girl, I don't know what I am. That's weird. You got to know what you are to some degree. Like, you have to know. But in America, no. They're binary. They're non-binary. It's so much stuff going on. I don't even know what to call it, and that's different, and that's weird. How in the world are we gonna even sit here and say America doesn't embrace difference? They do.
Because that's not embracement. That's fear. The only reason is because people are afraid of being labeled as one. That's what I'm saying. That's precisely my point. You know what I mean? Like, people are out here afraid of what's gonna happen if you don't. Right, and that's what it all comes by.
You're talking about even now, not necessarily the person.
That's what I'm saying. That's precisely what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're afraid to be who you are. You know what I mean? If the fear comes from letting other people, like, you can't let somebody else be who they are if you're not comfortable. And when you can't stand comfortably and confident in your own self, it's really hard. You know what I mean, for people to let other people flourish, and when you see other people being different, that causes fear, because there's something up inside yourself.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what you see in America on a daily basis. This is why everybody gets so fucking offended, because it's just like, oh my goodness, what are they over there doing? They're different. I don't like different. Americans don't like different. You can't sit here and say they embrace difference in America.
I'm just looking at
one thing that America takes the most.
Let's look at our calendar right now. Now, granted, there's a lot of things that's happened in this nation in the past 5 years that I think had a dramatic effect. But I'm just looking at our calendar as of right now. Z, we celebrate every single culture, religion, sex, creed, nationality within our United States of America calendar. Like, we have gay week. We have gay month. Like, gay month. if we're talking about people on the outside are afraid to embrace that, I have legit seen the United States military section off this day and represent it not in a state of fear, but more in a state of I want them to feel accepted. Is that a reason why they are doing that? No, because I don't see that same aggression going out for Black Heritage or Black History Month. I don't see that. They go harder for the gays than they do for Black history. I don't. They still represent it. It's still going to be talked about. It's still going to be said. But as far as going out and being ultra sensitive to this really offline stuff, like, I just want to celebrate Black history that it really happened. I'm not talking about a lifestyle. They're celebrating lifestyles now. And I don't think they're doing it because they don't want to offend anybody. I think they're doing it because they want to embrace all lifestyles. When you start getting narrow, like, oh, let's talk about Black History Month. Whoa, wait. We don't just need to talk about Black history. We need to talk about Spanish. We need to talk about white. But when we're so specific on, okay, I really like trees. Oh, well, you can like trees. That's absolutely fine with me. That's perfect. The world needs to love trees. Like, that's weird.
It is. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but like I said, it's because it's only here, bro. It's not like this in a lot of other places in the world. This is what I'm saying. This is U.S. specific.
So
like,
in Afghanistan, I would have totally agree when you saying, yo, niggas cannot be weird in Afghanistan. I totally agree. You're doing one thing in Afghanistan, what they tell you to do. Point blank and period. You're not doing anything you want to do.
No, it's not even that. It's not even, like I said, yo, it's first of all, if you got, as long as at least two people are interested in whatever weird shit it is, it's a thing, right? You know what I mean? Like every fucking thing is a thing, right? You know what I mean? Like literally, it don't matter what it is, you can come up with the most wildest shit ever that you can imagine. There's gonna be at least one other person out there in the world that's interested in that same weird shit, and then
you're like, oh, that's a good idea.
That's the thing, right? You know what I mean? So it's just like I said, it's not even about. I mean, in the U.S. as of right now, yeah, it's this whole big thing on everybody being accepted, but it's not just about acceptance of all. It's about acceptance of yourself. I don't give a fuck about everybody, right? You know what I mean? Like that's what you see on a daily basis. It is about acceptance, but it ain't about acceptance of all. You know what I mean? Like, because as you can see, when you talk about the acceptance of everybody's all like, nah, we don't need everybody. We just need us, right? You know what I mean? You talking about the LGBT community? You know what I mean? Nah, we just looking out for us.
Facts, and that's facts.
Right, then you start getting into politics, you know what I mean? Left versus right. We just worried about us, you know what I mean? You start getting into race, black versus white, you know what I mean? And a lot of people like, oh, we're just worried about us. But when you have so many specialized individual groups that are just worried about self now, and this is all that you've been seeing, a lot of this stuff that you've been seeing is only happened over the course of the last 10, 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't been a going concern in the United States of America. This has just been over the course of the last two presidents. You know what I mean? Like, to where it's just the political climate of things in the United States is so much easier to say, hey, he offended me, instead of saying, I take responsibility for my own goddamn actions. Right?
Again,
it's so much easier to say, you hurt my feelings when you call me fat, than to look in the mirror and call yourself fat, right? You know what I mean? Like,
again, back to the sports analogy. You were the last one there. Now, granted, you could be slower than every other kid, but there should be some motivation to where you want to push yourself. I guarantee, and knowing me, being a coach, I definitely know. I will say stuff to motivate somebody past what they think they can do. That is the job of a coach. You're supposed to motivate somebody past the point of which they're going to do. Because if not, you'll need a coach, like a personal trainer. They're not really there because they really know more than you. They're there so that you can push yourself to a point of exertion and they motivate you past that point. That is a coach. If you want to give a broad definition of a coach, that's what they do. Games tied, yes, they're going to come up with some schemes. But they can only come up with the schemes. They got to make sure players execute that. Again, with the responsibility. Somebody misses the last shot of the game. Now people coming at their neck. Oh, I don't want all that pressure. You missed the shot. I missed the shot. I feel like 2K21 had that quote. You know, I missed the shot. You know? That's how I feel. Sometimes you're just slow. Speed it up. I guarantee you, if that coach would have saw that kid pushing himself, he would not have made him run those extra laps. He just wanted him to push. He was not pushing hard enough. And with a threat, which is a bad way to put it, but that's what it was, with the threat of running extra laps, I feel like he would have added a little giddy up in his step and pushed through. And I'm even bring it full circle. I'm going to predict that it is going to be extremely hard for a LeBron James son or a Dwayne Wade son or a who you could say Patrick Mahomes' son or daughter, like, to be as successful as their parent, because there was a different breed of growing up. And I'm not even going to say it has to do with anything from the hood or anything like that. I'm going to say it had to do from an aspect of responsibility. We grew up in an era in which we had to accept responsibility for our own actions. We did that. However, what it does is, I feel like it ingrains a source of confidence in you, because when you do good, it's like, yeah, I did that. You darn right I did that. And matter of fact, this is what I did to get there, and I'm responsible for where I got because I had to go through that. This sense of entitlement puts it to where I deserve that. Why do you deserve that? That's where cats get lost, and that's where you find people that are like, I got the skill and talent, but I deserve to be here. I'm not going to work for it because I'm not responsible for that work. I deserve to be here. You're responsible for getting me where I'm supposed to go. Therefore, again, when it really comes to the rubber meets the road, perfect example, Ben Simmons, when it comes to the rubber meets the road, yes, you got talent. Yes, you can probably be the best player in the NBA, but you will not take responsibility for your lack of production and developing your gift. You will never be a LeBron James. You will never be any of those players that are considered great, because you will not take responsibility and say, yes, I am not where I need to be right now. Yeah, I need to be there.
Where do you get that? Like we were saying, you saying for LeBron James son to ever be the next LeBron because this generation is being raised different, but who raising the generation?
And what I'm saying, okay, perfect example, right? And that's a good point. I feel like LeBron says to his son, I don't, and which I feel like is just a defeating mechanism, which I hate it. I feel like LeBron has said to his son at least once or twice, I am doing this so you will never have to grow up the way I did and have to go through the things I went through. That is the biggest disadvantage I feel like some people can give their kids. Now, granted, I don't know the degree and the hardships and things that LeBron James had to go through. However, you can't tell me that that did not help him become the person and the player he is now.
Precisely. But that was the point that I was getting around to. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these self-entitled, to me, a lot of these soft ones are the ones that are a lot better off. You know what I mean? Better off, families a little bit better off, and at least more stable environments that they come from. Right? The environments where they give you forced to accept your responsibilities and grow up a little bit faster or be a little bit tougher skinned because they got a few more obstacles to deal with are coming from lesser environments, right? You know what I mean? So therefore, but when you have an individual, you know what I mean, that comes from a lesser environment and moves to a better environment, and they have their kids in this better environment,
the cycle starts to get
better. Right? You know what I mean? Then you end up with a difference like T.I. and his kid. Right? You know what I mean? And this is it. You will never, I mean, I say that to the boy all the time, and you will never live like I lived growing up. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you won't, and it's not even like I had a horrible life, but I feel like ultimately as a father, if I can't, my goal is to provide better. I want you to be better than I was. So if I came out this great, and if I can give you more than what I had, then in my mind, that's just going to make you come out better than I came. Right?
So do you feel like that cheats them from experiences? Now, granted, I don't want you to put your son or your daughter through the same trials and tribulations you went through, but by shielding them from some of that stuff, do you feel like that inhibits some of their tough skin or enhances the thought of why it's so sensitive?
You don't have to put them through the same environment to get the same, right? And I say that with the boy, like I said, like he don't have to. We don't have to grow up the same way for me to be able to not only give him a better and teach him the same lessons that I've been taught. And this is just where it fails at. when you give, it's the difference between giving something and letting somebody earn, right? And I try my hardest for that. And a lot of the times, it's still fun just to give himself because I
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what I earned, right? I did it so I can have that ability. It ain't always about the kids all the time. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I like to do what I like to do so you can spoil your kids because that's what, when I was a kid, I wanted to be spoiled. And then I'm an adult, I want to be able to spoil my kids, right? So then you do that. But, you know what I mean? There has to be a limit to it, right? You have to know, yeah, there was a huge benefit for us not being spoiled so much growing up. You know what I mean? Like there was a benefit to us because it taught us a lesson that, I mean, it just taught us a lesson. Now, could that same lesson be taught if we grew up differently? I'm sure, because everybody don't grow up the same. You know what I mean? And even with the boy, I try to teach him how to be responsible for his own actions. It's harder. It's harder given that he doesn't find himself in a lot of positions to where, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's just rough for him for the most part. He don't find himself in a lot of those type of positions. You know what I mean? But talk to him. You know what I mean? You teach him responsibility through different things. You know what I mean? However you feel like you need to teach him responsibility, you teach him self-confidence, you teach him self-accountability. You know what I mean? Which is something that I've always tried to instill. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't never missed no meals. You know what I mean? Out this money, he ain't never had to wake up, you know what I mean, with no electricity or anything like that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, this man knows very much, you know what I mean, that he'll still go to school hungry if he don't get up and get something to eat before the bus come, right? You know what I mean? Not to say there wasn't no food in the house for you to go hungry.
But
you know what I mean? But you understand the importance of getting up and handling your business. You can't sit here and you're not gonna get mad at me because you ain't eat today. You know what I mean? I did what I was doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I did my job as a parent and I gave you. You know what I mean? That what you do with what I give you is gonna be on you. Right? You know what I mean? Now, and where people fail at, they don't teach kids what to do, what they give them, they just give them.
That's true.
Right?
And then when expect them to learn by themselves.
And they expect them to learn by themselves because you did. And that's what's not fair. That's what's not fair at all because you put these kids in an environment that they had no idea how to get in the first place. And then you look at them like they're crazy when they, you know what I mean, squander it or blow it or end up, you know what I mean, just completely just not performing like you feel like they should perform. Is because we do good with the tools we got because we earn the tools we got, right? You know what I mean? Like if I didn't earn the tools that I got, prime example, the GI, right? In the military, I countless times. People would be in the military 10, 20 years, 10, 15, 20 years, get this GI Bill, give it to their kids, right? You know what I mean? They earn that. That's the bill they college paid for, they ain't got paid a dime for it. I worked a long time for this. Here you go, something that I can get to my kids. Kids who have no idea how to earn that or where that came from or how much that meant will go right to college and flunk out in the first
and blow
it. Not think twice about it. Parents be heated. Yeah. Because I could have used that money.
Right.
I could have went to school on that, right? And that was my mentality on it. This is what I told the boys. Like, my GI Bill, no, that's my GI Bill. I'm not giving that to you. If you want a GI Bill, you can go into the military and get you one, like I did, right? I can tell you where to go get it, but you can't have this one because I earned this one. This one's mine. Right? You know what I mean? This is it.
I was gonna say too. I think you really hit on something that I really try to implement. I think it's not a LeBron James telling his son, you can't have what I have, but I feel like it's LeBron James giving him the cheat codes. And I feel like him understanding that these cheat codes didn't come easy, but now let me help you navigate through some of these strongholds that I had, that you still see the struggle behind it, but I'm going to teach you the tools to push past it. Because I feel like you can't keep your kids from stumbling on certain things. You can definitely guide them. They're still going to be going in their own way. But when they hit that stumbling block, that's when it has not to be that whole, I made it, you can make it. This has to be the, all right, I told you this was coming. Let me give you some tools to help you push through it. That's what I hope these stars that have made it, movie, whatever genre that you're excelling in, I hope that they're passing that part down. Not necessarily just giving them, like you said, but teaching them, like you said, I got mine. This is how you go get yours.
Right. But this what I'm saying. That's not just that everybody they did is you can't just say, hey, here goes the baton, run forward. They're like, no, you have to look how far I carried this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Look at where you need to carry it to. You know what I mean? And this is how you run with it. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you can't just give it to them, because they're going to drive that bitch every time. It's only a matter of time before they drive. Even if they can get a little bit further, you know what I mean? It's only a matter of time.
And then it's your fault as a parent for not correcting them when they drop it.
It's your fault as a parent all day.
You mad that's the first time they try to take the baton. It's
all day. They say most self-made families or most self-made people, I think they said within 2 generations that money ends up being gone. Like successful business people, within 2 generations, that money ends up being just,
wow.
If they don't teach the generation behind them what to do with it. So if I sat here and made a few $1 million, or, you know what I mean, got self-made out here, and I was even still able to give the boy something, you know what I mean, he was able to take that and at least run it for the rest of his lifetime, maybe not even make it bigger, and then he tries to hand it down, you know what I mean, whatever my assets or whatever it was to his kids, you know what I mean, if you're not passing the knowledge along with, you know what I mean, with the tools, like there's no value in the tool. The value isn't in the tools, it's in the knowledge. That's all you really can. Just what the parents aren't passing down. They just want to get, and then they just want to give. You can't just get it for yourself and give it, but they don't know what it means.
That's
right.
True.
You know what I mean?
And they don't know what it takes to reproduce it or get it.
Not. And this is not just in the material aspect, but like I said, it's just in the psychological. When you sit here and you talking to these kids, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm all for confidence building. I'm definitely not for tearing nobody down. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not for talking bad down. I'm definitely not for the psychological abuse. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not for the physical abuse at all. You know what I mean? Like, I might get a little loud. You know what I mean? I like to cuss. But by and large, you know what I mean, I definitely don't see myself as an abusive person, because I genuinely don't really believe it.
I understand that.
But at the same time, you know what I mean, I do very much believe in discipline, you know what I mean, of self and of others, you know what I mean, and I definitely very much believe in being responsible for your own actions, because there's one thing that in my entire life, good, bad, or ugly, I take my own L, and I always have, right, you know what I mean, I ain't never put my weight on nobody else's shoulders, you know what I mean? And if everybody could just, you know, live by that, I feel like the world would be a lot better place, really.
Man, Z drops dimes of knowledge at the perfect time, because
I'm over here. I done got sidetracked. I don't even know if that's where we started talking, bro. Anyway, it's time to wrap this thing up.
That's it. I was gonna say, like, that was the finishing touch right there. Yo, first and foremost, thanks everybody for tuning in. I know it's been a minute. We're going to try to pick back up the pace. COVID's been back. We're trying to get back on track with that. Drama at the crib, too, so we're trying to get on pace with that. But we out here, still going to try to bang y'all out every week. Why so sensitive? Leave your comments on the bottom. Z, sign us out, man.
Yeah, all right, y'all already know. Go ahead and leave them comments in the bottom. And before you get up out of here, make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead on and hit those so you can tune in with us. Make sure you, that's it, yo. Like I said, make sure y'all tuning in with us. We're going to try to get back with y'all again. Like I said, it's been a little slow, but we're going to get back to it, because this is what we like to do. So we're going to come back with y'all. If you got ideas for another topic, go ahead and put those down in the comments as well, because it'd be hard coming up.
It do. Well, we need y'all help. We really need y'all help. Like, help us out, because today was a stretch. Y'all lucky I was a little faded, but we gave you that information anyway. Signing out. Adios.